Our journey towards accountancy is going to be a very long journey. But this long journey will fill you with a lot of interesting facts and how to go about doing certain things. We have certain procedures to follow, certain rules to follow in order to get the right answer. Now today, the topic which I'll be touching to you all is the basic accounting terms. Well, there are many terms and it's very necessary that we understand each of these terms properly. I now come to the first term, which is known as business transaction. The first term is known as business transaction. So basically, when we talk about this term business transaction, it means that it is a financial transaction or an economic unit. Okay? Now, why do we tell this? Because anything in business is done in monetary values. Okay? The money aspect is always taken into consideration, whether it is 50 paise or it is 1 rupee or it may be lakhs of rupees. Every financial transaction has to be entered. Okay? And it is entered by two parties. One that initiates the accounting process of recording it in the books of the enterprise. Let's take an example. Let's take an example of sale. Okay? Say for example, I have sold goods to Mr. X. So there are two things involved. One is Mr. X. He is our party. He is a person who buys goods from us. While as the other thing is the goods, the stock which we have. So that gets disposed. So there's always going to be two transactions. Okay? So what is a sale for us will be a purchase for Mr. X. So it will vary from person to person. So things like sale, purchase, payment, receipts, they will all have twofold aspects. Okay? So let's just go through the entire business transaction. Number one, it is concerned with money or money's worth of goods and services. Okay, so the money aspect, as I told you, plays a very important part. So it's business. Business means monetary. Monetary means money. The second is transfer of exchange of goods and services. I am selling goods to someone. So someone will pay me. I am buying goods from someone. So I have to pay someone. So I will get the goods and I will pay that person. Okay? So there is a transfer of exchange of goods and services. Third, there is a change in the financial position. Okay? Your financial position basically is your assets and liabilities. Either your assets go up or your assets go down, or your liabilities go up or your liabilities go down. When liabilities basically means what you owe others. We'll come into detail a little bit more at the end of this chapter. So liability is what you owe the others. So if you pay off, automatically your liabilities will go down. But if you take a further loan or if you take goods on credit, your liability is going to rise. Similarly, if you sell your assets, the value of your assets is going to go down. If you buy assets, your value of asset is going to go up. Okay, so there will be a change in the financial position, and this financial position can be witnessed from your statement of your balance sheet. Okay, it also has an effect on the accounting equation. Now this accounting equation we are going to learn in the future. Okay, your capital plus your liability is equal to the assets. Of course, we can change an equation by putting one to the other side where it will become a minus. So there will be an effect on the change in the accounting equation. As I told you earlier also, there will be a dual aspect. There will be two aspects, the debit and the credit. Okay, so this again, it would be inappropriate to discuss the meaning of debit and credit right now, because in accounts, debit and credit for different things has got different meanings. So if someone could define debit or credit for you, they are absolutely wrong, because in accounts, each account has got a different debit and a credit. Okay? We also can tell from a business transaction that equality is maintained. Okay? So what happens when you sell goods worth 10,000? Your goods go out, but you get money worth 10,000. So the equality is always maintained. It is always balanced. Also, when we do all these things in a business transaction, the nature of the transaction is analyzed. Whether it is a real account, whether it's a personal account, or it is a nominal account. Okay? So, I just do a little bit of classification in this basis. Now, your business transaction can be split into two parts. One is a relation with the accounting unit. Okay? Relation with the accounting unit or relationship with the accounting unit, and the mode of settlement of value. Mode of settlement of value. So, on the basis of this, your business transaction is divided into two: a relation or relationship with the accounting unit, and the mode of settlement of value. Okay? Now, how do we go about doing this? Let's discuss first what is the relation with the accounting unit. In this, we have got two types of transactions. One is internal, that is within, and the other is external. External is for outside purposes. Okay? So, internal transaction is also known as an accounting transaction. So what is an internal transaction also known as? It is also known as the accounting transaction. While as an external transaction is known as a business transaction. Okay? So your relation with the accounting unit, it's divided into two. An internal transaction. An internal transaction is also known as an accounting transaction, and an external transaction, which is also known as a business transaction. Okay? When we talk about the mode of settlement, we divide it into two parts. Either you settle it off with cash or a credit. A credit means you are making the payment at a later date, or you are receiving the amount at a later date. So the mode of payment plays a very important part. Either it is a cash transaction or it is a credit transaction. So this is all about business transaction for you. As from this, I go to the next important term. The next important term is account. The next important term is account. Now, it's very necessary to keep account of all the things which has to be done. Okay? So what do you do when you account? You account, you record the transaction, you record whether the transaction is a cash transaction or it is a credit transaction. Okay, there are various accounts. There can be you're paying the salaries, you're paying the telephone bills, you're paying the electricity bills, you are receiving cash from XYZ, you're paying ABC. So this is an account. It's always better you keep an account because you know what are the track of things that is there. Okay, so account is a very important aspect, and here you record the transaction. From an account, I come into the next term. The next term is capital. Now there is something very important which you should be knowing when you're doing accounts. When you're doing accounts and if you have your own business, say for example, Rajesh. Rajesh has a business which is known as Rajesh Enterprises. Now, Rajesh is a different person and Rajesh Enterprises is another person altogether. A different identity, a different entity. Okay, you should never confuse the business with the person. The business is a separate person by itself. Okay, so capital is basically what the owner puts into the business. So for the business, it is a liability. It is a type of a liability because they have to give it back to the owner. Okay, and remember, I told you earlier, your liabilities plus your capital is equal to assets. Now, if I want only the value of capital, in such a case, capital is equal to assets and liability goes on the other side. It's asset minus liabilities. Okay, assets is what you have and liabilities is what you owe to the others. Okay, so your third important term is capital. Capital is basically the money or money's worth invested into the business which you are going to take from your house and invest into the business. Okay, this is capital because this is the money which the business is getting from the owner. It could be money or it could be even some assets like land, building, furniture and so on. Okay, now I come to exactly another term opposite to this which is known as drawings. Okay, capital, the opposite of capital is drawings. Okay, drawings is basically when a owner removes something from the business for his personal use. So this is drawings. Okay, so drawings, he can either withdraw cash or he can withdraw goods. Okay, and this is used for his personal purpose. So drawings is when something is removed out of the business, while as capital was something when it came into the business. Drawings is when something is going out of the business. And as I told you, your drawings can be goods or it can be cash. Okay, so this is drawings for you. Okay, we discussed account, we discussed business transaction, we discussed capital and we discussed drawings. Okay, I hope you have understood whatever I have told so far. As I go into the next term which is known as liabilities. Okay. Now, the word liabilities basically means the amount owed by the business, what the business owes to the others, that is known as liability. Now, what we can do is that we can divide the liability into internal liability and we can divide it into external liability. Okay, we divide the liabilities into internal and we divide it into external. Now, when we are dividing it into internal and external, internal is not a problem, it's handled within, but external we have two liabilities. Okay, one is known as a current liability and the other is known as a non-current liability. So it's very essential we understand the difference between what is a current liability and what is a non-current liability. A current liability is basically a liability which is there for a short span of time. It is there for less than 12 months. While as a non-current liability is a long-term liability which is going to vary for more than 1 year, okay. Current liability, basically if you have purchased any goods, from your suppliers, you have to pay them, so it becomes a current liability. So it would not be wrong to include creditors under current liability. Also any outstanding payment of yours, that also will be put under current liabilities. Now coming to non-current liabilities, it's basically if you have taken a loan from the bank, okay, if you have taken a loan from the bank and this you are going to pay continuously for 5 years, 10 years or 15 years, okay, along with interest. Fine. So these are liabilities for you, and I'm again repeating that your liability is divided into internal liabilities and external liabilities. Internal liabilities not a problem, but external liabilities are your borrowings from outside, okay. Current liability is basically the liability which will last you for less than 12 months. Basically, if you have purchased goods on credit, you have to pay your creditors. Non-current liability will be lasting you for more than 1 year. Say you are taking a loan from some party, from a financial institution, from a bank, and so on. Okay, so this was liability. Basically, you are liable to pay. Okay, so what you owe to the others is known as liabilities. From the liabilities, we come to what is known as assets. Okay, assets are exactly opposite liabilities. Assets are basically what you own and what the others owe you. Okay, what are assets? Basically what you own and what the others owe you. Okay, so this is assets for you. And let us understand assets very properly. Okay, now again your assets are divided into different aspects. It's divided into non-current assets and it's divided into current assets. When we talk about non-current assets, what comes under that? Your non-current assets basically are divided into three parts. They are divided into fixed assets, they are divided into non-current investments, and they are also divided into fictitious assets. Okay, so your non-current assets are divided into three: fixed assets, non-current investments, and fictitious assets. Okay, so basically fixed assets is what you own. Okay, and these are further divided into two parts. What you can touch is known as tangible, and what you cannot touch is known as intangible. Okay, basically what you can touch is your assets like machinery, furniture, land, building. What you cannot touch is intangible. We'll touch upon the intangible aspects later on, but examples of intangible assets are goodwill, patents, copyrights, trademarks, and so on. Okay, the non-current investments are basically investments which you do for a long-term purpose with a view to get returns. Okay, and also you have got fictitious assets which is going to last you for a long period of time and from which you deduct certain amount, so it is kept aside. Okay, and your current assets basically are those which will last you for less than 12 months. Okay, that is if you have to receive money from your debtors or any prepaid expenses which you have paid in advance. So we go to the next term. The next term is receipts. Okay? If you observe properly, the word receipts comes from the word receive. That means you're getting. Okay? So basically your receipts are incomes. You can divide your receipts into two parts. Okay? It could be your revenue receipts or it could be your capital receipts. Okay? You can divide your receipts into two parts. It could be your revenue receipts or it could be your capital receipts. Okay. Let's come to the term revenue receipts. Revenue receipts are those receipts which are occurring time and often again. Like for example, you're a trader and you sell goods. Okay, so what is your income? What is your revenue? By selling goods. Okay, so that is your constant revenue which you're earning. So these are revenue receipts and these are going to occur throughout the year. Okay, the time span may vary. Sometimes you might make a sale in 3 days. Sometimes you might make a lot of sales in one particular day also. Okay, so depends upon what you are selling. Okay, you are going to earn your receipts. You are going to receive money when you are going to sell. Okay, so this is your revenue receipts. And remember, the word revenue is going to RE. It is going to reoccur again and again. It's a recurring income. Okay, it's going to appear again and again. It is going to recur. Okay, it is going to appear again and again. Okay, now let us talk about capital receipts. Now these receipts are not constant receipts. This is possible if you sell any of your assets like machinery, land, building. Okay, those which you know you are going to utilize it for a long period of time. So when you sell all these assets, the money which you derive is known as capital receipts. These are not your regular receipts. You are not going to sell your machinery which you use for production again and again. Okay, so these are capital receipts for you and these are revenue receipts. Revenue receipts will occur again and again, okay, or reoccur again and again, while as your capital receipts do not appear again and again. They appear once in a while and they are got by selling of your assets. Your assets are things which you own like land, building, machinery, equipment and so on. Okay, so from your receipts now we shift the focus to expenditure. Okay. When we talk about the word expenditure, it simply means that they are expenses. They are expenses. We divide the expenditure into three particular parts. Your expenditure which occurs regularly, this expenditure is known as your revenue expenditure. Okay, this expenditure is known as your revenue expenditure. We also have what is known as capital expenditure. Like I told you in the previous example, whenever there were receipts, capital receipts is when we sold off our assets. This is when you purchase any assets. This is known as capital expenditure. Then we have got an expenditure which is in between, that is known as deferred revenue expenditure. Okay, what is it known as? Deferred revenue expenditure. Now, say for example, I spend rupees 40,000 on advertisement every year. Say 40, sometimes 45, even 50. Okay, so this is a constant expense for me to promote my goods. I'm going to launch a new product. So suddenly, instead of 40-50,000, I spend around 5-6 lakhs. Now, if I show this in my profit and loss account, I shall be showing losses for year together. So what we do is that we treat this expense of 5 lakhs or so as a deferred revenue expenditure, and we write off every year a part of it. So it becomes easier for us, and your accounts will show you a clear picture about your profits and losses. So just repeating again, your expenditure is divided into 3 parts: revenue expenditure, capital expenditure, and deferred revenue expenditure. Revenue expenditure, the expenditure which occurs on a very regular basis. Okay, like for example, you're paying salaries to your employees, or you're paying wages to the workers, or you're paying rent every month, or you're paying the electricity bill. This is going to occur again and again. Okay, and this is revenue expenditure for you. Capital expenditure is not necessary to occur again and again. It might occur once in a while. It might occur once in 3 or 4 years when you're selling off a land, when you're selling off the building, when you're selling off some furniture. Okay, so it's not going to occur again and again. And deferred revenue expenditure are things like advertisement expenses or promotion expenses which you are incurring for promoting your new product. Okay, so these were certain terms which we had to understand, and we'll be understanding much more terms in the future. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this session in as much as I enjoyed it putting forward to you. This is Vishwanath Jatan signing off with a hope that I shall be back to you